He's leaving here at approximately 3:30.
Wave hello to the camera. It's Paul's 45th birthday today. Happy birthday! It's 10 till 4 a.m. Have you told the camera what's going on? Oh, our flight has been canceled and we're rescheduled for 12 noon tomorrow, so we're headed for a hotel soon. But we're going to celebrate the birthday later.
They got very firm, and she covers her head, and they walk to shul, and they don't turn the lights, and they don't cut toilet paper. So they made Aliyah. They changed their names. He's Ephraim, she's Batya.
Joyce, tell us, you having fun?
Yeah, this is wonderful.
What's been the highlight of the trip so far?
I think the ride over and the wait at the airport.
The 3 hours?
Yeah.
From 2:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m.?
Yeah, and get to talk to everybody. Met Laura Greenberg. I figured she was going to be proud.
Laura, was that a big moment for you too?
Yes, I like outside waiting, everyone looking for this bus that never came, that was not going to come. But we kept looking and hoping and praying that we were going to get a bus.
How about the 70-seat bus that left with 2 people on it?
That upset me a little bit.
How was your experience at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Just great. Tell me Toronto again. I'm taking it out of my vocabulary.
That little shot of vodka you had last night sort of smoothed everything over?
I wanted to take what the rabbi took because he was very comfortable. You know where he was. He didn't know people were talking. He didn't remember a thing.
Get down on that. Get down on that.
That was our spiritual leader, a drug addict.
But the computers that take the information from those navigation systems and display it to us, one of those doesn't agree with the other. So we're stuck with using only one right now. That's not a big deal. We can fly the airplane just fine. But the government says to go across the North Atlantic on our normal route, they both have to be talking to each other. So we can't do that. Okay, so how do we get there? We're going to go a more northern route that the government says is okay. Now, these computers, even if both of them fail, we can still fly to Tel Aviv, no problem at all.
For those of you who are wondering why the plane is not yet being refueled, so that we can fly over the North Atlantic across Iceland and Greenland in an alternative route, it's because of this storm. And now we're completely off the chart. Nowhere to be found. Yes, this is the same clock that we've been looking at for the last almost full day. And now the airport seems to be adding noise pollution to make the day a little bit more objectionable.
The time is 4:30. Our 1 p.m. flight had some problems, so we are waiting for the plane to be refueled. But we had to wait because we had a rainstorm. They couldn't refuel until the storm was over. Here at Air Canada, they provide free snacks.
All right, everybody out there in the audience, can you tell me what's wrong with this picture?
What's wrong with it?
People eating on an airplane,
Still on the ground.
and we're not moving.
On the carousel looks exactly like one of ours. Greetings, viewers. Welcome to Yerushalayim. I know that all of you are moved by that performance. This is Paul sitting in our hotel room at the King Solomon. Perhaps you'll open the curtains for us and we can take a look at the view. Well, the sun is setting. It is 6:15 p.m. Jerusalem time, right before Shabbat. There's a basket of fruit from the hotel manager. Perhaps we'll travel into the bathroom now. This is for Marilyn's benefit. Sinks, blow dryer, and the rest of the facilities.
And there's the YMCA building near the hotel.
God decided to test Abraham, Vayomer, and he said, Abraham, Abraham, Vayomer, he named him. Abraham says, here I am, God. I'm ready to do what you asked me to do. And God said to Abraham, Kachna et bincha. Take your son, et yichidcha, your only son, asher ahavta, the one you love so much, your son Isaac, whom you prayed for so many years. Take that son who you waited for all your life, who is the entire future of everything you believed in. V'lech lecha el eretz Moriah, and go to the land of Moriah, and bring him there for a sacrifice. V'alehu sham le'olah al echad ha'arim asher amar alecha, on one of the hills which I will show you. Somewhere along this ridge is the place where Abraham first stood when he looked upon Jerusalem. So since we are going to be going today to the place where Abraham lived and bought the first Jewish land purchase in the land of Israel, it's appropriate we start here and we gaze upon the city of Jerusalem from the place where Abraham stood some 3,007 years ago. The first king of Israel dies, Saul, and the second king of Israel is now ascending the throne, and we now learn a little bit about King David. Ben Shloshim Shana David b'Malcho. He's 30 years old when he becomes king. Arbaim Shana Malach, and he rules for 40 years. Where's David's first capital? It's not Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is still a Jebusite city. Hebron. In Hebron he reigned over Judea for 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all of Israel and Judah. And the king and the man, his men, went to Jerusalem to the Jebusites. David conquers the city of Jerusalem, that is the city of David. And this is Jerusalem during the time of the Muslims, which is the 7th century. And this is Jerusalem in the time of the Crusaders.
Cave and the Rolling Stones served as the door. Keep the animals out.
We've been out of the city.
We're going to do a reenactment.
What does
Joyce,
that mean?
bad news. There's no ice in all of Israel except for Burger King.
Very nice. I understand English. I understand English. Oh, you understand English.
Outer arch, and then there's an inner arch. Different history.
This is the Western Wall. The place where we daven Friday night is down here, about 100, 150 feet. We're now standing in the middle. This is a typical Herodian building stone. They're rectangular blocks. They're average size, somewhere between 5 tons and 2 tons, 2 tons and 5 tons. They have a margin embossed around the outside and a flat face. 300 tons. How much? 100 tons. Add them together and put something else on top of it, you still not have the answer yet. 400 tons, how about 570 tons?
You can see the plaster that was used to line the cistern.
That's the wadi. You can see it very clearly. You can see all these dry waterfalls. You can see exactly where the water goes on the gray path, and down to the wadi and down to the Dead Sea.
And I believe that's where we're headed here at En Gedi.
En Gedi is mentioned in the book of Joshua. En Gedi is the last one of the list of cities that Joshua conquered when he conquered all of Eretz Yisrael, but he was unable to conquer Jerusalem. Jerusalem stayed a Jebusite city until who conquered it?
David.
David. Who wrote the Song of Songs? Solomon. It says, Eshkol HaKofer Dodili B'Karmei En Gedi. My beloved is unto me as a cluster of grapes in the vineyards of En Gedi. Even in Shir HaShirim, En Gedi is used as a metaphor.
This is one of the lower pools at En Gedi. There's bamboo going all around the circumference of the gorge at the bottom of the waterfall. There's an ibex. And a baby.
This geometric design, how perfect it is. Then they made an inscription. And then they have an inscription like the guy can't write in a straight line. The incredible thing is not how imperfect it is. The incredible thing is what it says. There's a dedication in Aramaic to the people that gave money. Okay, that's in a lot of ancient synagogues.
And modern.
The most incredible section is the third section, this section here, which is also in Aramaic, talks about the people that gave money, and then talks about the rules of the village. It says, a curse will be upon whoever reveals the secret of En Gedi.
Oh, there you go. What newspaper are you reading?
Jerusalem Post. You have to fight to stand up.
All right, I gotcha.
Help! I'm not drowning.
Hello, Doc Siegel.
Hot water, and it is mighty salty.
It is real salty.
I don't know what we're doing.
This is the new cable car, which was just constructed within the last year, going up to the top. And there's the snake pit, the way King Herod went 2,000 years ago.
Tower of Babel. And from this perspective, we get a very, very clear understanding of why anybody on Masada would have thought they were invincible. Without fear, slaying them all, they made the same rule for casting lots for themselves, that he whose lot it should first kill the other 9, and after all should kill himself. 10 people were designated to kill the other 954, and then the 10 chose lots, and one out of them that had 10 killed the other 9. So ultimately there's only one suicide and 963 murders. The Romans burst in here the next day, and literally they find dead silence. Except for these 2 women who hid in a water cistern, and evidently told the whole story to Josephus. Buds, plants, vegetation, right? In addition to all the geometry, those happen to be some of the fruits of the land of Israel. Pomegranate, grape leaves, grapes, figs, pomegranate, grape, fig, grape, pomegranate. Whoever Herod's artist was incorporated the biblical 7 fruits of Israel.
These are the ruins of the wall the Romans built to surround Masada when they set the siege. The larger piles of crumbled rocks are what's left of the guard towers that were built at intervals along that wall. Like, for example, right there.
It's called Baruch HaShloshim. You have the 3 soldiers who were killed here. It's also 3 pools. It's generally known by the Arab name Sakna.
This is a buxer or carob tree.
These nibble.
3 pools. Gan Shloshim.
We have Paul here doing the backstroke in fresh water. We are at 3 pools. Gan Shlosha. He's not as buoyant as he was at the Dead Sea.
We're looking for Betsy, and here she is.
Bob, this
Here's
is the
Bob.
camera babysitter.
Keep in mind. Thanks, Bob. Seeing the wide array of attire and people down here, especially these Arab ladies who are fully robed and scarves. Everything from water wings to traditional Arab garb. It's every year at Sukkot time. Really?
No, that's not this.
I mean, oh, well.
Buxer, carob.
Well, maybe Sukkot also.
Want some?
Sure.
Don't eat the pit because it's extremely hard, so take it in little nibbles. Because if you eat the pit, you're dead.
And it definitely has a chocolatey taste.
Oh, I got a taste of them.
You've never had buxer?
Not like that. I mean, I've had carob when it's been processed.
Right. Take small bites.
Please! It is good.
The verdict is in. It's good.
No question.
Tiberias and the Sea of Galilee. The view from our hotel room in Safat. Kibbutz Afik on the Golan Heights. Yoo-hoo! Hi, puppy. Afik.
It's not what you think, guys. You'll be in Please feel free to sit down. For including not just a visit to the Golan, which of course is a very popular tourist site to come. The Golan enjoys over 2 million visitors. The waterfall and the stream, and the horses and the chickens and the cows and the little farmer and the wildflowers in the spring. The football field over the Golan. Through the migration between Africa and Europe, the storks fly over here in the spring and fall months.
and of course the gazelles, and we have the largest gathering of birds of prey in the Golan Heights as well.
Nora, shofar. Kibbutz overlooks the Jordan Valley, and then there's the Golan Heights, and off toward the northeast is Mount Hermon.
This is apples there, kiwi fruit. We are the biggest producers of kiwi fruit in Israel. We needed to plant a windbreak to protect, because kiwi is very sensitive to wind. You see one here of these beautiful cypress trees. Further down, you see that last line of trees? Right past there is the border. Hezbollah flag. Every now and then, the Hezbollah do provocative actions. One of the things that they do for military objectives is the following. The border fence, as you can see just down below, is electronic. And it's set up to give two kinds of signals. A green light will flash if the fence has been touched, and a red light will go on if the fence has been cut. One of the military objectives of the Hezbollah is to figure out how the Israeli army works, because perhaps sometime in the future they would like to fire at Israeli soldiers on the Israeli side of the border. So they do something very simple. They trip the wire on the fence, and that's what they did now. Apparently, as we were leaving, the Hezbollah soldier went up to the fence, he touched the fence, he shook it a little bit, and it set off the alarm. The soldiers up here saw him do that, but they have to follow their routine, so everybody in the base went on alert. The people at the lookout, what used to be the Israeli army base, over there, and now there's a Hezbollah flag on it. And finally what was happening is the people in the base were called to alert. A car came, the soldier got out of the car probably, looked at the footprints. The Hezbollah were taking notes on this.
This is the Davidka gun. This is the artist's quarter in Safat. See, if I'd known about this, well, actually, I'll have a chance to see Dave Moriarty before he... There's the other courtyard. Grapevine growing. This is where we're having dinner tonight with the Barrel family.
Because I'm from New York, after all, you know, it's hot in New York, it's not the same energy. But it was somehow I got all toned down, and I fell in love with Tzfat. Ronnie and I both fell in love with Tzfat. It's beautiful. The people here are wonderful. We have friends ranging from ultra-Orthodox to former hippies to POT heads. Don't tell the kids. To artists. It's really just an interesting bunch of... You can't spell yet, can you? We found this house 3 years ago. Ronnie renovated it for 8 months, and we started hosting groups here by chance. And now this is what we do for a living. Our minimum is 10. We do bar mitzvahs, and we're going to be doing our first wedding in September.
We're going to be walking up the ramp and through a gate which we believe was built by King Solomon. Underneath, you can see now the sacrificial altar from Canaanite times. On. And I got to make sure I put it back into the bucket I took it out of, otherwise they'll never be able to get it back onto the jug that it came from. This blue bucket is a whole lot of pieces which were found on one particular day, on one particular strata or level, in one particular area. So it gives the archaeologists a chance to maybe have a shot at putting the pot back together. And the shape of the pot will often give an indication as to the time period from when that pot came from.
There we go, off to the tunnel. Staircase going down the grain silo.
To make it heavy. Got a popular response from the rest of the group. But yeah, that was the women's job. The women were the ones who fetched the water.
One of those round subway type of things.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Was this where they covered it over rock right here?
View from the Hilton.
Isn't that gorgeous? Executive Lounge.
Cardo, Main Street in the Jewish Quarter.
This is Main Street, Jerusalem. The city was destroyed in 1948 by the Jordanians, and the Jews expelled. When we came back in '67, we had the opportunity to rebuild the entire Jewish quarter, which is where we're standing now, but at the same time to first dig down to discover what lay beneath. And that was an incredible opportunity. And we discovered here, probably more than anywhere else that we see today, evidence of the various layers of Jerusalem's history. These walls down here are walls that we believe which were homes of people living in this section of Jerusalem during the period of the First Temple. This wall over here, see it? This whole wall is a wall that surrounded Jerusalem, built by the Maccabees.
Wow.
When they reconquered the city in the year 132 and dedicated the temple and gave us the story of Hanukkah, this is a Maccabean wall. These are Hashmonayim, Maccabee fortifications built somewhere in the 2nd century BCE. And you notice much higher than and over the first century, the First Temple period. Next, early Roman times, these walls. 2nd, 3rd century. These pillars are street level of the 5th century. These are pillars that lined the sides of the Roman, Byzantine, Cardo, Main Street.
We had a bathtub.
Tiles, bathtub, what else? Private mikveh. This is an oil lamp. You can see where the wick would protrude. Over here, the olive oil went into the bowl, and you can see the soot marks from the burning. Fertility goddess. The prophets screaming at Jewish people. Here you are living right near the temple, and they were hiding little goddesses in their closets. They were hedging their bets. They prayed to God over there, and then they prayed to the idols in their closets. You notice all the pieces that have been glued together? Right, so these were not found whole, they were found in pieces and reassembled. Yeah, these things here, right? Okay? Why in the world would anybody build a jug that doesn't stand? I mean, they certainly knew how to build flat bottoms.
It has to go into something else.
Lebeit HaTekiah, look. Lebeit HaTekiah means the place of, what's a tekiah? Tekiah. The place of the shofar blast. Or perhaps the trumpet blast, because a tekiah is really the name of a note, not the name of an instrument. The place of blowing the shofar. Lo. Now, lo is the Hebrew equivalent of tu. It's a prefix to a word. Lo something. These same notes were used in various rituals in the temple as well. And in the Mishnah and the descriptive Talmudic passage that says, on the eve of the Sabbath, they would blow 6 tekiyot in the Beit HaMikdash. 6 notes in the Holy Temple. 2, to tell the people in their fields to put away their tools and go home. And so those first 2 blasts of the were a warning on the Friday afternoon for people in the fields to put your tools away, start packing up shop and going home.
Here is that southwest corner stone that Peter was talking about, with the inscription Le Beit Tekiah, something or other. Today's Friday. Thousands coming to pray on the Temple Mount. This is in Evan Warren's shaft in the old city, in City of David.
Not sitting here. Not sitting here. Not sitting here. Let him over there.
Can't wait to see your house.
Pillars, each of them incomplete, different levels representing the lives of children that were exterminated at different points in their life.
Hier sieht man, das gehört doch zu dieser Allee der Gerechten. Das ist ein von Nazis gerettet worden sind. Warum ist es so besonders? Plötzlich ein Boot auf der Helm.
What is that, Lord? You did what?
I diapered.
You diapered him. That's wonderful.
A walk to the Knesset.
Is in holy garb. Wow,
We are at King David's tomb.
we are?
Well, are we?
I don't think so. We're at Rabbi Goldstein's yeshiva or something like that.
King David's tomb. It was, as you see, was built, destroyed, and above is the Last Supper room. It's the only place in the world that has all 3 religions lined up.
Yes, I'm here.
Label.
I hear you.
Then.
Museum, I think.
This is the Tower of David Museum with the glass exhibit, the amazing glass exhibit.
Special character.
هذه الناس تدرك شباب الناس بمشيتوا من بالسيارة من بيت لحم من المكان أو بنتد لهون بمشي.
Oh my goodness.
Somehow your face still looks like it's in a shadow.
Well, probably because of the hat.
There you go. That's better. Still at the Tower of David. What are you laughing at?
I'm reading this book of Jewish wisdom that I got for the Puccia. Here's a quote of Einstein. Albert Einstein says, "I never think of the future, it comes fast enough." They sell calling cards. Wow. At the Hilton. The Many Cats of Jerusalem. I hear you.
On your watch. 1 minute. Hail, Petronius from Jerusalem. You are all from Atlantis. Please proceed.
When my sister and I traveled in Scotland and Ireland, we went to a Viking banquet and they didn't have utensils at all. Maybe this is the same, yeah. It's kind of like optional chopsticks at a Chinese restaurant.
Oh, it's really, now it's oil. You gotta like that.
All right.
Now your feet don't smell.
You forgot her. That's 3 tricks. Watch closely. Trick number 4. Trick number 4. That's like 12 great balls of fire. אחד,
1,
2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Berry, berry, bim, bum, berry, berry, bum. Berry, berry, bim, bum, berry, berry, bum. Berry, bum, berry, what a bomber. Berry, berry, bum.
Has anybody reported on the airline closing at 2 a.m.? Who is laughing at?
There's a rumor that the flight's been delayed because the toilets aren't working.
I know nothing about toilets. I only know about the airport closing at 2 a.m. So they're trying to get permission to fly out at 4 a.m. as promised. Thank you for your time.
Gary, you looking forward to having additional bonding time with
I was actually looking forward to doing it back in Atlanta, to be honest with you.
To go on a noon flight tomorrow from Tel Aviv to Canada. Each of the passengers will go to the hotel and get a compensation of $400 from Air Canada. So this is what I need now. It's about 42 volunteers.
I have to work. You didn't even make an announcement.
I've seen the last of you tonight.
Well, it's 10 after 3, almost a quarter after 3, and well, it's happened again. This is unbelievable.
Here comes the Orva Shalom group.
On a reliable airline.
And we're hoping to get on their flight to Frankfurt. Hey, Bob. Bob. Thanks.
We are at the Sheraton in Tel Aviv. We tried repeatedly to get on another plane, and we finally just threw in the towel. It is 5:15 Tuesday morning, and we've got a 1 p.m. flight.
Does this remind you of anything that's happened in the past?
Yes, except that room was much nicer.